Alrighty, we should be live. And okay, it took a second to get there, but we are live and we are on. Good morning, everybody. We are back. Thank you guys for such an amazing night last night. It's been crazy. But we're here. We got Firesplitter starting us off. What are you starting us off with this morning, Firesplitter?
Hello everyone, Firesplitter here, and today we are gonna start off a little quickly with... We're gonna start up with 2 rounds. The first one is gonna be Bleed 2 on easy story mode, and the second one is gonna be Hello Kitty Cruisers all tours with items. So yeah, I'm ready to start off whenever everyone else is ready.
Alright, I will pop the timer back up.
Perfect.
Hold on one second. Alright,
Yeah.
timer is popped up. Alright, give me that countdown.
Shall I do a countdown now? 3, 2, 1, go! So, hello everyone, this is Bleed 2 by me, Firesplitter, on Easy Story, New Game. The new game means that we only have access to the first weapons you have access to on a normal file, which is the gun and katana. This means there are very few tricks in this category compared to the freestyle run, but it puts very much more emphasis on platforming, and it's a way more forgiving and easy to learn category due to this. And easy, of course, means that we are doing an easy run, which means that the bosses are gonna be a little easier than on the other difficult levels, but it's not really much easier than normal, but it's very much easier than like very hard. So the first trick we're showing off here is a triple dash and dash resetting. Dash resetting I did a little bit of earlier, but we're gonna explore that one way more on the next stage. But here's the first real boss, which is Blast Jumper, having some good RNG there. As everything else in this game, what we want to see is purple. We can reflect everything that's purple, as you saw there with the boss. If the boss turns yellow, we can't reflect it. If something turns yellow or purple, we can definitely reflect it. There are some cases where we are not reflecting things, despite them being purple, and that is lasers. It's actually very technically possible to reflect lasers, but they don't do any extra damage, and you can only reflect them for a little period of time. There are very few uses for that. The only use for it is really in Endless, where you have to dodge some lasers at some points during the stage layout, but we're not gonna see any of that in story new game runs. Here comes the second boss, the Mirror Core. On this boss, the boss gonna shoot out a lot of these purple lines. Hopefully, they can shoot out yellows as well, but we don't want yellow because, as stated before, we can't reflect yellows. Like that, for example, can't reflect those. Taking the hit there because it's way more easy to do that there than to try to dodge it. There we go, stage 1 complete, time to go for stage 2, and on this stage we're gonna see a lot of those dash resettings I was talking about earlier. Dash resetting is a trick where you can dash for a very long time in a row. Normally you are limited to 3 dashes per period, but if you are doing resets like there, I missed the second one there, that's normal though. You can dash like this forever really, until you obviously don't dash reset anymore. You obviously have to do the dash resetting every 3 dashes. It's a very good trick that we're gonna see a lot in the next platforming segment. That's a very good place to highlight it if I can get it right. The Kitty Shopper it's going okay. I have seen better Kitty Shoppers, I've seen worse. With Kitty Shopper you want that. You want that one way earlier where it turns purple and shoots a big missile towards you. You can reflect and do massive damage. And here's the dash resetting part. There we go. That was some highlight of how the dash resetting works. As you can see, we can dash resets for we can dash for very long times with the dash resetting. Normally you are limited to 3 dashes. It's one of the most important movement techniques in this game. And it's also one of the harder tricks to learn in the game, as well as it's it's kind of precise. There are some ways I do it that makes it way more precise, way easier than it normally is. But it's still very, very precise. There we go. The trick is kind of to touch the edge there. What we're doing mostly is called edge resetting. It's the easiest one. There's slope resetting too, and there is flat resets. Flat resets there are very, very few uses for on the early stages. There are gonna be some usage of it on that stage later, but I'm not sure we're gonna use it there because that stage has the platforming that stage is rough enough as it is. If I do it, I do it. If I don't do it, I'm not stressing it. There we go. Valentine car. This fight has 3 different patterns. The worst one we saw there was the cars, which is the hardest one. The other 2 are the ones we saw in the introductory part of the stage. Laser and when she turns cars to dust. The goal here is to ensure this truck doesn't get hit. If it gets hit, they can't shoot her and can't destroy her shield, which loses like 10 seconds each time you fail it. So I'm very, very happy we didn't fail it this attempt. It's a very, very huge time loss. And stage 2 is complete. Time for stage 3, which is mostly composed of auto-scrollers. There is gonna be a lot of auto-scroller sections here and 3 boss fights. So there is gonna be a lot of time here to read some donations in a little while. I'm gonna say when it's time. The first boss we're gonna see here is Red. She is one of the most fun boss fights actually in this game. And she's also a little rough even on easy. Due to her mechanic to usually reflect her. She's gonna shoot a lot of those big purple balls at us. And our goal is to reflect those and to avoid the yellow ones. And she's going down. Being pretty lucky so far, not seeing any yellows. Which is very, very good. Also a very good red fight. There's a very good time to read some donations right now. Okay, we had though nothing to read here. So now we're going to the second boss of this stage, which is the Ninja.
Alright, we don't have any dodos, but I was messing around with something and
Yeah, don't worry.
I'll be right back.
Yep. This is the Ninja fight. This is a very, very interesting fight. We're gonna use a little glitch here that makes it so... Normally he reflects our bullets, but if we use Katana we can get through past that shield of the sword of his. To basically deal damage where we normally would be unable to. Which is a very, very neat trick that both makes this fight a lot faster and a lot easier. Because previously this fight was pretty long actually before that trick was discovered. On New Game. On Freestyle you have always just used the laser blast to do it. Which is a Freestyle unique weapon. But the New Game, that fight used to be very, very rough until that trick was discovered. And even that trick is a little rough because it's very, very precise where you have to stand. And sometimes it moves around, so you have to recalibrate where you're standing. I basically use some marks on the floor to decide where to stand. Which makes it very, very consistent, but it's very rough. Here comes Rex Rocket. This is a fight that's a little on the rough end as well. He's gonna fly around, and we are gonna reflect that big purple rocket there, which we got thankfully. It's not always we are that lucky. And we got yellow rockets, that's a shame. Another purple there would have been amazing. This boss has a way smaller hitbox than you expect. The hitbox is actually... We're gonna see it now, we're gonna see the hitbox now. That guy in the middle there, he's the hitbox. Not the big rocket launcher, as you would think. This boss is actually one of those bosses that are way rougher than it looks like because of the ridiculously small hitbox of the boss. And now we're going to the launch. The launch is, I basically call this the boss gauntlet because there's gonna be a long boss gauntlet towards the end. That's a little bit on the rough end. There is one rough boss there, and there is four bosses. The health situation is gonna matter a lot, but here comes Chef Spammer. This is a pretty easy boss, but especially easy where there isn't any bad patterns. On other difficult levels, when it does this thing, it's gonna fly around, which leads to a lot of damage downtime, sadly. But on easy, it's pretty simple to take care of this. And we're out of it. That's pretty good. And here comes another auto-scroller. This auto-scroller actually matters how we perform in though, because if we take a single hit here, we are gonna lose about 7 seconds, because the entire stage is slowing down if we are taking a hit. It's basically an anti-frustration feature for newer players to make it have dynamic difficulty level, but for speedrunning perspectives, it's pretty terrible, as you know, time slowing down is very punishing, and I'm pretty sure the developer of this game is fully aware of this, as this game is very designed with speedrunning in mind. There is even on the PC version an in-game speedrunning leaderboard for the arcade mode, and yeah, I think it's only for arcade mode, and there is a daily challenge which also has a leaderboard that's based on time and a score leaderboard. So this is a game that's very much made with speedrunning and score attacks in mind. But here's the boss gauntlet. The first boss, Guppy, is a pretty simple boss. What we want to do is go down and turn purple so we can reflect him, but that's not happening right now, sadly. But it's pretty normal, I would say. I'm not expecting that fight to go well. Here comes the worms. They're gonna go from side to side, and our goal is basically to shoot them as much as possible and hoping for a good pattern where they turn purple for a long period of time. And we're not gonna get that pattern, sadly. We're gonna get the yellow pattern instead, which is a shame because that doesn't save nearly as much time. It was still a pretty solid boss fight. Here comes the rough boss though, which is Robo White. On this boss fight, we're gonna spin around with the boss to basically deal some damage, because it has a heal around it, but there is actually an opening in the shield, and the opening in the shield is actually not just visual, you can actually get through it. Turning purple, we gotta shoot him down to have him in better control. So we can better control him. There we go. There we go, that was good. The reason why I do that is basically because better have him low down, because then I can do Katana Flurry in case he does the rocket launcher thing, because just like with Rival, or not Rival, the Ninja, he is basically not protect against Katana Flurry. There's gonna be bosses later, it's gonna be a boss later that has protection from that, but both of those bosses have no protection against it even though they have shields. So you can, I basically use the same glitch there as I did against the Ninja to get past the shield and to do some extra damage even when we're not supposed to be able to do damage. And now it's time for the hard split, the warship. This is basically the decisive split in this run, because this split has one of the roughest RNG checks in this game. If you fail the RNG check here, the run is probably not gonna be good. If we succeed with the RNG check though, the run is gonna be fantastic. Like world record potential fantastic. So we'll see what happens. I will explain how the RNG check works and what to look out for when we get there, because there's a lot to it. But here is the segment slider. This boss is gonna shoot out platforms. For anyone who played Mega Man, this kind of pattern is gonna look very familiar. There we go. And next up we're going into a zero gravity zone. This means that we are gonna be able to infinitely dash without doing dash resets. As you can see here. It's just a dash forever here. And even if we stop dashing, we're not gonna fall down because there's zero gravity here. And here we should Nemesis score. This boss has two phases, really. The first phase is pretty simple. We're gonna hope for purple wall, which we got, thankfully. So this run is actually looking very, very solid right now. Especially this boss fight. And stage 2, though, is a little rougher. He's gonna go around, and we are going to have to take care of some mechanics to basically remove the heal around him. On this boss fight, you can't do this trick we did before with the thing. With the katana flurry. We basically have to play by the rules in this boss fight, which is a little boring, but it is what it is. There are no speed tricks to get around this mechanic, sadly. But we did a pretty fast fight here for this fight, so I'm pretty happy. Next up comes a very hard bubble section, but we're good in health, we don't need to speak too much about it. What we need to know though is that this is the section of the round where most runs die, because this is a pretty rough platforming section. And you can be very low on health here due to how much life you can lose to segment slider earlier if you are having bad luck with the pattern and aren't prepared for it. So I'm gonna start talking about the next boss. The next boss has very many patterns. It's basically a collective of blobs that's gonna turn different things. We wanted to turn into Pac-Man, and we don't want to turn to rockets. Pac-Man saves us a lot of time, rockets loses a lot of time. Rockets is actually way better in... yeah, there's rockets. That's a shame, I don't think this is gonna be a good run now with this. The rocket takes a long time and doesn't allow you to do a lot of damage on the boss, sadly. Gonna go up here for this mechanic. Yeah, we have a pretty rough luck here. There we go. Still have a very good fight here though. Very good. Still have a very good split here, despite having very bad luck. So this run is still in a good position, but that RNG was really terrible. We didn't see the Pac-Man either. The Pac-Man takes a lot more damage than anything else, and it is in Pac-Man mode for a very extended period of time, meaning you have a lot of time to deal damage to the boss. Oh my, that was a very good split, despite having no Pac-Man. Okay, it's time for Showdown. On this split, we are gonna fight against this boss in 4 different stages. Stage 1 and 2 are pretty simple. She's gonna use her companions to attack us. They're gonna throw stuff at us, she's gonna throw them at us, she's gonna do everything really. She's trying to destroy us with it. And with her telekinesis abilities. We are gonna take some damage on purpose here because we're gonna do a little trick at the end of phase 3, which is gonna save us a lot of time because we're gonna skip animation that's pretty long. There we go, health situation is good. We basically want to be on half less or less on the end of the next section to have time to basically do a to take a purpose death here to skip an animation. This is my least favorite fight in the entire game, by the way. I'm very bad at this because it's so terrible. I can't speak too much about it, but this game is basically both on console and on PC, and on console you are limited to only using controller, which I'm very fine with normally. But this boss fight is very punishing for controllers because aiming with joystick is not really comparable to aiming with mouse keyboard, especially on fights like this where you have to quickly aim for stuff. So let's do the death skip here. Good. Now we're going to phase 4. On this phase, the crowd is basically turned against her in the cutscene we saw before. We are not going to see that because it takes a long time, but they have turned against her. So now when we taunt, they are attacking her. Before we taunt, they would attack us. So we're doing a stun lock here. We got a stun lock here. Normally she's gonna fly around 3 times when you do it. It loses a lot of time if we let her do that though. So we are stun locking this 4th phase. It's a pretty rough trick to do. We thankfully did it perfectly this run. Thankfully we did it perfectly. So we are having a pretty good split here. Nothing really nasty happened. And now it's time for the final level, which is the showdown. So far the goal of this game has been to defeat her, so we're basically done with the goal. This is basically called the epilogue, and the thing that's happening here is that the yellow hair guy from before is basically won the title of the greatest hero of all time, so he has to challenge Rim for it, because he won it in the previous game. So yeah. So now we're fighting against all of his machines. And we got purple there, perfect. Just what he wanted. Next fight's gonna be against his flying machine, which he sits in, the whale core. That fight is pretty... It's pretty easy, but at the same time there's very much nuance to it. It's a pretty fun fight. The goal in that fight is going to be to reflect as many purple rockets as possible, which can be rough at times, depending on how many there are. We obviously want many purple rockets because each purple rocket reflect deals a lot of damage, as you can see. And there we go. Oop. Pretty good start in this fight. As usual, we can't reflect yellow. Let's hope for good pattern. If we have a good pattern here, this fight's gonna be pretty... There we go, perfect pattern. Perfect pattern here. That was the perfect whale core fight. From an RNG perspective. Now we gotta go down and we gotta fight against a machine falling down here, and then we gotta fight against the bolt core. And then we gotta fight against rival itself. This is basically the very end game right now. And as always, boss rush basically. And the goal here is, we want purple rockets basically, as always in this game. But we're not given any, so that's a shame.
And just a reminder, we still have the bid war open for picking the characters for Hello Kitty Cruisers, which is coming up right next. And since there's been no donations, you can basically swoop in and pick the character we're going to play.
Okay, that sounds amazing. So, there we go. Now it's time to start the Molkor. And the trick here is, this guy shoots 3 lasers and he's going to do a pattern. The trick here on this difficulty level is that he can't shoot on the same lane twice. So once he has shooten on one lane, that lane is safe. So now, for example, he can't shoot there anymore. So we just gotta stand here and dig ourselves back here. And we can have a very simple kill there. Oop. And now it's time for final fight against the rival. After this fight, it's basically their bet. If rival wins, he's gonna get the title of greatest hero of all time. If Rim wins, they're gonna sit at home playing video games for all eternity. What we want here is him to do the purple kick, not the yellow kick. It's still good though, and we don't want the katana. Even though we have a trick here we're gonna use, there we are. Where we're basically gonna manipulate katana so he doesn't fly too high and puts himself in a position where we are basically able to deal some damage to him with our own katana. Here comes the tennis game. Boop, good tennis game. I assume you didn't see too much what happened there, but this guy shoots a ball and we basically jump up there to fight against him in that little tennis game. It's way too fast with the speedrun strats to see what's going on. And it's gonna be time in about a couple of seconds. I will say when it's time. Time! There we go.
That was a 23:16.
That's very strong time.
Alright, I'm going to quickly do mic test on your other game.
Perfect.
While we're doing a switchover, so we will be right back very shortly.
Yeah.
If I can get back into the team viewer. Closed it. So popping you right back over here, and you should be live again.
Yeah. Okay, hello everyone, it's Firesplitter here again, and right now we're gonna play the next game of the day, which is Hello Kitty Cruisers. This game is very interesting. This is a very interesting game. You'll see while we play it why it's so interesting. It's a racing game starring everyone's favorite Japanese mascot.
It appears that we have a donation from Leica for Choco Cat.
Oh, that's interesting. Then we pick Choco Cat.
Unless somebody quickly jumps in with a higher bid, we're gonna be doing Choco Cat. I'm gonna quick double check on
yep.
over here.
I'll let them have a minute or two to try to outbid Choco Cat, if that's fine.
Well, while we're waiting for that bid, I would like to remind you that after this run, we do still have a full day of event coming. We have Annabeth coming up next with Lego Harry Potter years 5 through 7. With about a 10-minute extra bonus run of the single level speedrun of 7.5. Then we got DJ Holmstrom coming on for Stardew Valley. Hylix 1 and 2 with Burmese Slap. Germanic Ogre with DuckTales Remastered. And ending us off today will be Couch 23 and Neon Gray doing a free enterprise race. And we still have the Cute versus Silly bid war going on, but Cute is overwhelmingly winning with $85, and Silly is sitting with nothing. So, but there's still plenty of time for you guys to come in, donate, bid on the incentive for the final boss sprite in free enterprise, and so far it does not appear that there's been any other bids, so I think Choco Cat is gonna win it.
Okay, then we are starting off, and we're gonna start off with the first world, and I'll say when time starts. Time starts when I press confirm, which I will do in 3, 2, 1, and start. So here we go. This is a mascot racer starring everyone's favorite Japanese mascot, Hello Kitty, and her friends. Oh, that was a new glitch! Oh my, I've never seen that glitch happen before. Did you people see that when the frog rode upon our cupcake there?
That was, what?
Yeah, that's a new one. Not even I have seen that one before, and I have played this game for many hours. Yeah, we're starting off strong here.
We have started off with a that's never happened before.
Yeah. And that should set the mode for this game pretty well for what we are going to expect for the rest of this run. Yeah, this is a very, very, very glitchy game. That is one of the glitches we'll see. I don't think we'll see it again though. I have never seen that happen before. So yeah, some glitch we are going to expect is a sound glitch, some menu glitching, and we have also seen another glitch I think, which is item duplication from an AI, where they basically got a clock into a clock. Getting a clock is a very, very rare item, but in this game, once you got an item, if you get another item box, you can basically get the same item you got before, which means that you can stack up on some items. We might see ourselves do it if we get very, very lucky. The items we want to duplicate are triple boosts and rainbows. If we can get those in, we are gonna get a very, very good time. It's a very, very rare glitch though, and it's very, very unstable. You can basically, so far from current knowledge, there is no way to guarantee that it happens. You can only do things to make it more likely to happen, like for example picking up the same item box you picked up the first item in and not picking up any item boxes between those item boxes. But it's a very, very useful glitch to be able to get items you are normally not supposed to get in the first place, like the triple boost or the rainbow for some speed boosts. So as you can see, we are basically racing ahead of the AI here. The AI in this game are very, very terrible, and we have seen nothing yet. There are going to come some stages later on where the AI are going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. Stage 2 complete. Time for first flying stage. The airplanes in this game are actually pretty good, except when they glitch out. The airplanes can glitch out in a way that makes the controls... It feels like you are flying the airplane with a weight on one of the sides. You'll see what I mean if it happens. But it's basically gonna make the airplane not be able to turn as well in one direction as in the other. It's a way to force that glitch to happen, but I have no intention to force that to happen as speedrunners. It has no advantages at all. It's basically all downsides as you are unable to really control your airplane. So this is our first. There we go. Oh no. Oh, it happened. It happened. What I want to do there was to use the cone there to get some extra speed, but the airplane got a little weighted down on one side, so I basically rode around in a circle instead of forward. As I said, it has no good speedrun use. It's only problematic. But it's on me though for trying to do a speed strat in a marathon setting. It's all on me for doing that really. And we're getting more clocks. That cost a lot of time. So time for ice stage. The ice physics in this game are... I won't say non-existent, but I'm pretty sure they're not non-existent, but we're not gonna notice them. If they exist, we're not gonna notice them, sadly. Because if there's one thing I love in racing games, is ice physics, because it makes it so that you really have to care about how you drive. The closest thing to ice, there's actually a little bit of ice physics, but nothing even remotely close to what you would be expecting. The closest thing to ice physics are actually the boat, but the boat control is like very terrible. Because the boating stage, despite having the worst controls, often have the stage with the most weird turns and the most precise tricks, which creates for some very miserable courses. The pack is very, very close to me, surprisingly. I might not win this race if this goes on. Basically, what we're worried about when running this game is for the AI to get the item duplication for triple boost or something like that to basically gain a lot of speed and overthrow us at the final lap. I have seen it happen a couple of times. Thankfully, I have always been able to still end up in first place. It's very, very rare that it happens, but it can happen, and if it happens in the final lap, there's nothing you can do about it, really. And we're done with the first world. Here comes the second world with the worst course in racing games history. This course isn't bad because it is a bad course, but it's bad because there's a very, very high chance at crashing at the end of it. And this is why the estimate for this game is forever gonna be pretty high, because there is nothing you can do about this. You just have to deal with it if it happens. Which we definitely don't hope it does, but it can definitely happen. It has happened before in marathon runs, and it's always as terrible when it happens, really. All we can do at this point is to hope that it doesn't happen. You'll see it if it happens, pretty simple one, and we didn't get item duplication there, sadly. I don't think I've ever gotten item duplication at this stage before, so I'm not sure if there's another setup that's required or if I've just been unlucky on this course. Because I said before, the trick is very unstable, because it's dependent on the game not working as it should and not updating what item you should get. Which is a pretty hard thing to replicate yourself. It's way easier to replicate something that's kinda working as intended, but it's not working as intended, than something that's not working at all. If that makes sense. And here's the final lap. Let's hope we can finish this lap. We shouldn't have any problems as we just start this game, because this glitch is way more likely to happen the longer the game has been on. So always when I do runs of this, I always hard reset the game after every single run to make the glitch less likely to happen. It's still very, very likely to happen, mind you. It's very, very likely to happen. I even rerouted all of the 100% categories to basically put this as early as possible. And we're done, but we're not finished yet. Game can still crash, and we're safe. We're safe. We're safe, everyone. This run is still alive. This run is not gonna go too far beyond estimate. I'm gonna say one thing though: if we do crash in the middle of a tour, I might, due to us starting a little late, I might just do the rest of those tours in quick play to not lose too much time. Because the glitch can happen at any point, really, but it's way, way more likely to happen in that stage. If I say it like this, I have seen that happen like 20-30 times, the game crash at least, maybe more. And I have only seen it happen outside of that stage once. I have seen some other very fatal glitches happen in this game in other courses, but those have most of the time been adventure unique glitches, like one glitch that basically doesn't allow you to move in menus, not allowing you to continue the adventure, and basically forcing you to reset the game and lose some adventure progress. But that glitch I've only seen working that fatally in adventure. There are similar sister glitches to that can happen here, but those are at most losing us 5-6 seconds if we can identify what is the cause of it quickly. And as you see there, the AI is stuck towards on the wall there. There is gonna be another course where we see a lot of that happening, and I look forward to highlighting that. But here's Potato Road 2. This stage is one of the more ambitious stages in the game, in that it actually has some pretty cool mechanic to it. It has a pretty cool mechanic. We're gonna see it now. Basically, we are gonna get pulled towards the other wall there. And it's gonna be the same here, so we are gonna stay very close to these walls. this wall here to basically be able to turn a little earlier and get out of that in perfect angle. The reason why we can do it is because the game doesn't register that we crash in this game. So we basically don't lose any time for going into walls. We're instead actually pushed a little forward in the direction we meant to go. So by doing that we save a little bit of time, because the game is giving us a little extra speed out of that turn when we do that. Just a little bit, nothing too much. This is like a very unstable game like that. There is so much weird stuff going on in this game, it's crazy. Nothing in this game is working as you would expect anything to work in any racing game. But it's kind of like the wall pushes us out towards direction a little bit. That's always the case when you go into a wall in this game. The wall is actually pushing you out. But you're not losing any speed, weirdly enough. Which is why we are going so extremely close to the walls in this game, because there is really no reason not to. Because by going very close to the walls, we are always taking the shortest possible turns. Let's get out of this, there we go. But yeah, nothing in this game is really working as you expect anything to work in a racing game. And there we go. That was that race. And time for the next one. This was the more fun course in the game, but it's also one of the roughest one. It's the one that's hardest to do the speed strats on. But I am going to perform it. It's basically exploiting. It's basically a thing that's a result of another glitch in this game that keeps on. When you go through a boost ring, you're basically gaining speed, even if you have speed before. So when you get through 2 or more ring boosts at the same time, you're basically building up some extra speed for each of those. It's very interesting how it works, but it's gonna have a little result here that we gotta go way too fast out of this ring to realistically make this turn without drifting like we did there. But when we drift like that, the game is not allowing the camera to follow, so we basically have to do a little guess about if we are at the right angle or not. Thankfully we can use the grounds to have a kinda accurate estimate of how we are gonna turn. And basically make this every time, but this is a pretty rough trick to learn. It's not very hard to learn, but it's very hard to be consistent at, because you have to go out in the right angle and you can't see what you're doing. If we don't do that, we are going to lose a lot of time. And time for tour 3. Now we are at the final Rainbow Road. I know what everyone was playing Mario Kart is thinking right now. Should Rainbow Road be the final level? Well, that's not really the case in Hello Kitty Cruisers. Oh my, that was very close to get pied. Another very rare occurrence in this game. I should probably explain a little bit how the pies work. The pies are meant to work as the green shells in Mario Kart, but they are way worse, like most items in this game. Or worse than Mario Kart version. The problem with the pies are that they are actually not bouncing off walls. They are, when they crash to a wall, they are gone. The only item that's like arguably better than the Mario Kart comparison is like the shield. The shield is supposed to work a little bit like a star, but you basically have it until you get hit. The problem is that it doesn't protect you against everything. The potatoes here, for example, you can't be protected against those. You can't be protected against the clocks either. So there's like very little reason actually to have this shield. It's pretty good to have. You see, you can't even be protected against the clocks, which is what you would love to be protected against with the shield. So it's all about, yeah, the shield is like, what I like to say about shield is that I use it to bump into people that are ahead of me, because they get, yeah, they are getting outcoursed them. It's basically a protection against the AI, which is gonna matter a lot on a future stage where the AI can actually mess you up a little bit. So far we haven't seen too much of the AI, but we are gonna see them later on quite a bit. On one level, there's a very huge potential with the AI, and if that happens, I hope we have a shield, because otherwise a trick is not going to work and we're gonna lose a lot of time due to that. Another shield, that's cute. Gotta put it on. Another clock, that's the opposite of cute. What happened there? I lost my shield somehow. Someone must have bumped into me. Someone just bumped into me, I think. Or someone hit me with a pie. I'm pretty sure it's the former. Because it's very light to tap like that when a clock happens, because everyone is getting a lot closer to one another. And there we go. This is one of the longer stages in the game as well, because we have this very long section we go up and down. This stage is like all over the place. It's a pretty interesting stage though, but sadly it's a boating stage, and boating stages are very heavily suffering from the controls of the boats. And we got some pies. The pies has like one actual use in speedrunning, and that is to destroy cones. It's probably the least useful item in a speedrunning sense, because it's very rare that a cone is positioned in such a way that it's gonna be a problem for you. If you drive into a cone, it's most often because you are trying to perform a speed boost glitch that basically allows you to maintain speed a little bit longer than normal. That's like the only time you're likely to ride into a cone during speedrunning. Because the AI puts their cones in very outer places. Because the AI still thinks this is a normal racing game and try to stay away from walls, you know. But they still don't know where the walls are. But they try to stay away from the walls. They are doing their best. I'm not gonna be too harsh on them. They're doing their best. And here comes the most glitchy stage, where AI are really glitching out. On this stage, AIs are gonna gravitate towards the top right wall here. So I would like to hear some guesses on how many AIs you think will be stuck against that wall when we pass it on lap 3. Do we have any takers? Let's see here how it looked after the first lap. At the first lap, we sadly only have one AI stuck against the wall. It can be any number really. I have seen everyone stuck there, I have seen 0 stuck there. It's very varied from race to race. What is happening there basically is that the AI mapping is not having them do that section properly. They think they should go through that wall instead of going around. Let's see how many AI is stuck against this wall now. Still only one AI. That's a little boring. That's a little boring when I hype up that section. There is one AI against the second wall though, which is a little rarer. Most of the AIs are often stuck in the top right wall. And that's, as I said, because the AI think they are supposed to go through that section to get to the next part. Because they're trying to reach a point of the map probably. And there we go, the speed boost glitch. With a bird. That saved us a little bit of time. And now we have the music glitch on. Listen to the music right now. Just listen and enjoy the music here. What has happened here is that the game still thinks we are in the start menu of the race and we are in the course at the same time, which means that some part of the overlay from that menu is still on the screen and the music is still playing as well, while the music is also playing from the stage itself, which causes some very annoying music. It's pretty hilarious though. This is basically one of the glitches that is the root of a lot of the more disruptive glitches in this game in adventure mode. But it's pretty fun in this mode because all it does is really messing up the music by playing 2 tracks at once. And now we start the final tour, the final 4 levels. The first 2 levels are pretty easy, the 2 last ones they are actually hard. Oh my. And this stage is pretty fine actually. I actually really like this stage. And I think we got item duplication for the shield there. This is a stage that's very easy to do item duplication on, so I really do want to get either triple boost or rainbow on this stage if I speedrun it. See, we got the shield again. We can basically stack up shields upon shields upon shields in this level, and if we had triple boost or rainbow, we could stack up triple boost upon triple boost for some very hilarious effects, as in we are gonna finish this lap in record time. It's a very rare glitch to get though, but it's way more likely on this stage than any other stage to get it, because the setup is really easy. As you saw there, the shield doesn't protect us against the beast. The shield is not protecting us against anything really in this game because, yeah, the shield is terrible. As I said before, the shield is really only good for bumping into other people or to prevent you from going into a cone. But the cones are never really in a good place to not bump into them. It's mostly used in a stage that's going to come up in a couple of splits, or in a couple of levels. And now it's airplane time. This is the bird airplane stage. This stage is a little rough. It's nothing too hard. It's nothing too hard really. The goal here is to avoid birds and to get to the finish line. So we're gonna try to keep track on bird cycles here, to not crash into one of the birds or having one of the birds crash into us. As long as we don't get clocked, I have a pretty good idea where the bird's gonna be at any point in time. But due to the nature of the clocks and that it affects how much time you lose, very much depending on where you get hit by the clock, I cannot very accurately predict where birds are at any one time after I got them clocked. So I really hope I don't get clocked on this stage, because it's so annoying to get clocked on this stage due to this. Oh, the AI are actually very poisonous with those cones right now. They're putting it right in the speedrunning tracks. That's very rare. Very rare. Unless I put them there, but I don't think so, because I never ever drop cones normally, unless I intend to use the speed boost glitch. Yeah, they are pretty rough with those cones right now. Probably upset because I said they can't use them. And boop. Now we're going to the 2 hardest stages of this game. This next stage is very hard. And on this stage we're not gonna look as much on the stage as on the map, because this stage is very hard. It's gonna require a couple of pretty precise turns to use the optimal speed route. Which makes it stage easier, but the tricks themselves are pretty rough. We're gonna go through these cones here, and then we're gonna do a very, very good turn there. Oop, there we go. The hard part is coming up here. It's not gonna be hard now, but it's gonna be harder the other 2 laps if we're unlucky. We gotta get past there, do this, and see, easy enough. The problem is that the AI on this stage has a bad habit of sometimes going in reverse. If they do that, they can be with us in that section, and if that happens, they can bump into us, and if that happens, we can get bumped into an ice block and get flung into the wall. So that's why I'm always keeping track on the map of this course, because I need to know if an AI is about to enter that section when I am about to get there, because if that happens, I am going to basically not do that trick the same way, but in a similar way. It's a little slow, but that is basically safer and avoids all AIs. And this can be rough. Nope, we're safe. The AIs are at the end of that and they are stuck in the wall, so we're safe. We're done with that one. Time for the final stage. This stage we have to keep track on car cycles. Well, they're actually crabs, but I mean, look at them. What does that look like? It doesn't look like crabs, I tell you. And we got the beautiful music glitch again. This is yet another one of those weird parts where something clearly doesn't look like what it's intended to look like. The other one being the comets that looks like potatoes. Lap 1 complete. On the second lap, I think we're gonna try to go for the shortcut there. Oh no, we're not. Or we are. That was very poisonous. The AI is really punishing me for saying that they can't place cones in speedrun tracks, aren't they? And due to the clock there, we didn't make that in time, so we basically had to take the hits from crab there. It's the reason why I always go for that is because it's losing us way more time to go for it and fail it than to not go for it while we could have made it. So if I'm unsure if I can make a crab cycle or not, or a car cycle, I'm gonna call it car cycle, I am going to go for it. I'm gonna go for it if I'm not 100% sure I can't make it. I'm gonna go for it. And if I have gotten clocked or something, I am unsure if I can make it or not, because as I said before on the previous stage, the clocks are really affecting us differently depending on where the course we get clocked. And we're gonna have time very soon, right? Once we cross the finish line, I'm gonna say the word time, and we're gonna have time, and time!
And that was a 29:19.
Yeah, that's pretty good time.
I mean, you were able to finish both runs in about an hour.
Yeah, as expected.
Give or take, give or take a few minutes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you all so much for watching me today while I did these 2 runs. And I really hope you enjoyed watching them as much as I enjoyed running them.
And thank you, Leica, for the $3 tip to get Choco Kitty.
Yeah, thank you a lot for that.
And don't forget, the rest of the day we still have plenty of people running, plenty of good games coming up and good runners and all that stuff. We started, it's gonna be a little bit more chillaxed. Same with DuckTales. We got one more bid war left, and that's the cute versus silly sprite for Zeramus for the free enterprise Final Fantasy IV race. So hopefully we will be able to get all that stuff sorted. And any last words, Firesplitter?
Nothing too much, except it was very, very fun to run here, and I really do hope you reach your goal of 1,000.
Well, that goal is there because we already reached the goal of 250, so this is just all extra at this point, and we're very grateful for every last one of you.
And thank you a lot for having me this weekend. It was a fun time to be here.
All right. Well, we'll